Okay, you guys, I'm back because I didn't want to make that Ancestry DNA video extra long. So I cut it off and I'm going to restart. The kitty is very vocal today. So I restarted with a new topic. How are you today? Sasha, just give her a little bit so she can be quiet. The cat will beg anybody for food, even though she just ate. So, are you content with your spiritual path? That's the question. Because I see a lot of people that flip and flop and flop and flip. They don't know where they want to be. They don't know what they are, what they want to do. One day they're this, the next day they're that. And a lot of them are confused. A lot of people are confused, don't know which way to go. And this is my thing. This is how I decided. I'm going to tell you guys how I decided. Whatever drew me in naturally is what I went for. Naturally. What my interests were and fascinations were as a child drew me in to what I would call my path. So that's it. Not what they said, not what they said, not what they said, not what they said, not what they're doing, not what they're doing, not what these people are doing, but what got my interest in the first place. That's what my path is because that's what stuck out to me. I didn't do it because they were doing it. I didn't do it because it looked cool. I didn't do it because, oh, they dress like this. I did it to what piqued my interest as a young child. And I stayed on that path, and it has always been fulfilling to me spiritually and wholly because it was from within, not from without. So if you're having trouble trying to find a path, just think back to your childhood and ask yourself what interested you the most in any type of spiritual aspect, in any type of cultural aspect, or, what were you really into as far as culturally? Because a lot of times the cultural things that you're into will lead to your spiritual, journey. Like I remember the first time I had one of those epiphany moments, I was in the third grade. And for art, they were, writing hieroglyphs. We were drawing hieroglyphs in art. So I had to draw my name on a cartouche. They gave us all the hieroglyphs for each letter, and I got to draw my name. And when I was doing that, I just felt a connection. Like I was like, okay, this seems familiar, very familiar, this information, so I started like reading about, that part of history, the culture, and then, Hermeticism, alchemy, all that kind of good stuff. So then spiritually, I've always loved science and, I always loved, space, planets, stars, anything celestial and scientific. Always loved that. Always loved anything scientific. So I took those two things and I went with it. And then culturally, I was always attracted because my mother was raised Catholic, because y'all know people from Louisiana, and then Puerto Ricans, besides their Santeria or, their New Orleans voodoo, they use the saints. So I was always attracted to the aspects of those two. And so I use all of them, or I'm very into all of them spiritually. So that's where it came from. I didn't get it from anybody else. If I were to, a lot of people say, oh, you should read about this, or you should read about that, or you should study that. If it doesn't interest me, then I won't really gravitate towards it. So I really don't feel a need to really learn about it unless it's to compare it to something else. But if it's not pulling me naturally, I don't go in that direction, you know? So, I mean, a lot of you guys request me to do videos on certain topics or things, and I just don't do it because I'm not pulled there naturally. And, I wouldn't want to do it halfway or not really be passionate about it. So I don't really do it. I leave it to those people who are naturally drawn to it, who share like, you know, an interest and passion with that. And so they could give you the best delivery. Um, what movie did we end up watching last night? Annabelle Creation. We watched Annabelle Creation, which is pretty good. Lots of jump scares. You remember when you were little, you read up on alchemy back then. It was a lot of information. And so I drifted off. Yes, that's why you got to start with other things that lead up to it. Like I bought alchemy books. I bought so many books that I could not read until I learned more. And then I picked them back up and they were so easily understood. But before they were almost a foreign language. So I save my books if I don't understand them. And then in about 6 months to a year, if I keep on my path, I will understand them. You just took a sip of coffee at the same time I did? That's kinda cool. You're trying to build something outside of your corporate job, meanwhile, my corporate job is driving me crazy. Um, yeah, just look at it as a means to an end, like a lot of people do. I remember my mom wanted to start her business, and she worked 2 jobs for 1 year, saved that money, and then opened her business, and she didn't work for anybody else since. It only took 1 year. Sacrifice, whatever it takes and save your money. Eh, eh, eh. Your great grandmother practiced the craft. I never knew anything about it, but when I became an adult, I started gravitating to it, reading and research. Yep. So, knowing like also, a lot of people, if you start where your interest goes, especially if you're culturally bound to some type of, spiritual path, magical path, whatever, start there first because that's where you're going to be able to get the most information and from your family or little stories here and there because my mom used to tell me, oh, we had an aunt who used to have these dolls and she would do this and that to them and everybody was scared of her. So I'm like, okay, I know what, little stories here and there. Or you'll hear, oh, my dad was this or that. So you start to ask around in your family, everyone has someone like that in their family, magical person, witchy person, spiritual person that's going to come out of the woodwork anyway. So knowing what they may have practiced may also lead you, you know. If you like your mom, you like my mom from what you hear. Yeah, she's a character. Actually, I'm going out there this weekend. And we're gonna do marshmallows. Well, we're gonna make s'mores. Do a little campfire by the lake because she has, some land, and we're gonna go do that this weekend. I don't. She don't have like it's way out in the country, so you're not gonna get no Wi-Fi. But if I can film it and then upload it later, I might. You always use urine in your spellcraft. That's an ancient Egyptian practice. Wow. You're very spiritual and hoodoo and Native American. Your background. Yes, yes. Okay. Where can you find information on the Emerald Tablet? Crystal links. Just Google the Emerald Tablets of Thoth and all of the information, like the whole Emerald Tablets, the whole book is on Crystal links in sections. Um, we will have fun. I'm going to spend the night, and because we haven't spent the night there since last year. So, hmm if you love campfires, what can you do to pull out your spiritual side? All you can do is go to what calls you, you know. But I suggest researching your background first to see where you're going to be natural at, like where you're from, where your mom's from, where your dad's from. Ask for their stories from the background, like, and then go from there, because I see a lot of people, and I'm not against anybody practicing any type of spirituality they choose. But I see a lot of people who are in certain types of spirituality, and they flip and flop a lot because it doesn't feel natural to them. It looked good over here. It looked powerful when other people were doing it, but then when they, were trying to get into it, they just couldn't. So, if you don't know, just try one until one feels good. I don't know. Yes. But I mean, there's like, I don't understand because I've always been spiritual. I'm just a Pisces and we're spiritual people, just naturally. So I've always felt spirituality since I was a child. And I've always been drawn to certain things. And that's all I know. So if you just don't have that spiritual side of you and you just were given religion or whatever, and you don't know what is what, I just feel like you need to do what feels good for you or create your own. I always say create your own. You do a mix of whatever you choose that feels good. If you like a little piece of this and a little piece of that, then create your own. It can be a personal, spiritual path. So, mhm. You told a man that you're spiritual. He thought I was a witch crafter and didn't want to talk to me anymore. Okay. I always say on my other channel, never tell, never tell, never tell. Um, when and if it gets serious, then I believe in a lot of things. I don't really have a set religion. That's all you gotta say. I'm non-denomination. Any advice when you feel stuck in your business? I work with a lot of spirits, but what are some tactics to open your roads? Confidence is number one. Okay. Before you do anything, you got to believe, see the end. And I made a video, the other day about that. You got to have the confidence because you got to see the end result before you even start the project and work backwards from the visual. Hey, Sasha. Is that what you're wearing to the dentist office? Okay. What shoes? Okay. You don't want to wear your overall? So, I was messing with you because we watched Annabelle, so I put your doll in a weird place. So when you woke up, you would think it moved. Sorry. I put her doll in a different place while she was asleep. So when she woke up, she'd think it moved on its own. So, do babies have an understanding of the spiritual realm? Did you notice when you were in it with your children? Yes. Um, when Layla was very young, she kept saying she wanted to go home, and we were already at home. So I was like, "Which home? We are at home. What you talking about home? I want to go home." So she remembers something, you know. And at one point, I think I have it on video. I don't know if it's on this channel, but she was like she used to have prophetic dreams when she was little, maybe like one or two. And I would look up what she dreamed. I would like just type it into Google, and the same day or the same time she was dreaming, whatever was happening. Like one time she dreamed of, she said there were yellow people and the ground was shaking and there was earthquake. And so I looked, and you know how dreams are, surreal. So yellow signified maybe Asia. So I looked up, any Asian earthquakes, and there was an earthquake in Japan at the same time she was sleeping. And then one time I was sleeping, and I was dreaming about ducks. Okay, ducks. I wake up and she has a rubber duck in my face. Like, wake up. So I don't know, but I think there is a spiritual connection, and then they lose it as they get older. They get more skeptical. Some don't, some do. So Sasha, when she was a baby, she was very independent. She still is kind of very independent, but as she gets older, she gets more spiritual. And Layla is kind of the opposite. She became more practical and logical. Yes. Is there any spirituality linked to wind? There are lots of winds. There are lots of goddesses and gods of the wind in many different cultures. Hi, Sashi. Go brush your teeth really good and floss.
Okay, you want me to floss?
Here, take this back.
I do not know how to floss.
No, just go floss your teeth, not your body. Because you know the dentists are going to be all up in your teeth. Okay. Yeah, they get programmed. Like Layla says she doesn't believe in ghosts. She likes to call them spirits or souls. I'm like, okay. Whatever you want to call it. She doesn't believe in certain things that I do. And I said, that's perfectly okay. You're not supposed to. No one is supposed to have the same exact beliefs. Like, you're not supposed to believe everything I do. That's for me. Maybe you are supposed to be on a different path and journey. It's not your journey, So I support you, Layla, whatever you do. The man who got freaked out by you being spiritual was a Jamaican. Let me see, which makes no sense. In Nigerian descent, which means, the Christian, what do you call it? Missionaries go into those countries and really just push Christianity, and make it seem like if you're Christian, your life will be better. So a lot of those people are, they're using scare tactics, bribery, decades and centuries of, missionary work. So they lose sense of their original culture, think it's evil, and then want to call you evil for practicing your ancestors' spirituality. So I don't listen to them. I just laugh and I say, really? That's sad, because you're closer to your own ancestors' spirituality than I was. But you allowed, or your ancestors allowed, the brainwashing to happen, and you totally threw away your cultural spirituality. And I don't think that's cute. So everything that's coming out of your mouth is garbage. And so I don't even bother. You know, it's like you live in Africa, you have diamonds under your feet, but people have told you that they weren't worth a lot of money. So you give them and sell them cheap. Then they go back and sell them for 100 times the profit. So I can't, I got to do my research for everything because I won't be made a fool of. Or at least I'll try not to be made a fool of. Okay, did you brush? Go brush again. Go brush twice. Did you do the electric?
I don't know how to do that.
Okay, go put a lot of lip balm on because you're gonna have your mouth wide open. You don't want your lips to be chapped. Then I'm gonna fix your hair.
My hair's perfect, Mom.
Okay.
My gremlin hair too.
That's my baby. Sasha, I got my DNA test results back. You were asleep. My precious.
Ching, ching.
You want to see where I'm from? Here, I'll show you on the map.
Oh, I thought you were from Egypt.
No, but I do have 3% of that area. Look, this is where mostly I'm from. Here, here, and here. These 3 big ones. Cool, huh? That's Congo. That's Spain. Okay. Go get some breakfast. And go brush again.
Darn it, it would taste weird. Since I brush my teeth.
Okay.
I guess I don't need breakfast.
Yes, you do. Okay. Let's see what's up here. You did a voodoo underwear spell on your crush and he had ignored my text for a month. After casting, he was at my house the next day. The problem I had is that he tried to suffocate himself into okay. Let's see. Some people don't need spiritual journeys. They have a doctor. Some people can't maintain themselves. They need a doctor. My fiance was inspired to practice after he learned of my practice. Is it okay to allow him to set up an altar in the same room as mine? I feel it's okay. I want to encourage him. Yeah, I already know how I feel about that. I'm gonna go in my bathroom. I don't even recommend being with somebody spiritual on the same path as you. I don't. Okay, that's just not something that I recommend. But hey, if you like it, go for it. Come on, Sasha, come here. The closet. We'll go get something to eat. Crazy child. Hi, Layla. Layla's still asleep. We stayed up late watching movies. She in my bed. So, let me turn off the lights. Came in here to comb Sasha's hair, and she's not even in here. Anyway, I don't think it's, for me, I can't do it. I need to be the only one doing stuff. That's just me. I don't want to share, because then it loses its appeal when you got to share it and talk and compare it and, oh, well, I think this and you think that, and I got to teach you something, and I don't like that feeling. I'd rather us be totally different. So I don't know. I can't get into the spiritual dues. Never could. You know, Yeah. Yes, it's already starting to bother me. See? Don't pull people into your spirituality. Just it's supposed to be a personal journey. In fact, especially if you practice magic, that's not supposed to be like something that you welcome someone into, unless they're like your children and stuff like that. But not your man. That's the main reason women practice magic. Well, a lot of women, but not me. But no, 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 no. Bad mistake. It's like I think some women use it because guys think it's mysterious or whatever. But I would rather that also remain a mystery. So you're in the closet with your spirituality. See, I'm not really in the closet, but when I first met James, there was I didn't really show that I was doing what I do, until maybe years into the marriage. So I don't think it's good to share because it just takes the fun out of it to me. Okay, so this any spiritual path that you're on, I don't think you're supposed to push it on other people. If other people are on a similar path and you can share, um, things about it with them, that's great. But it's just, I don't think it's fun anymore and it's not special anymore when the man is with you in it, you know? Because then they start thinking they know more than you. They read one book extra and I don't think they know more than you and they want to do this and well, I don't think that's right. What you're doing I read is wrong. Then it becomes a competition, Then you lose interest in him because now he's on a totally different path. You're on your path and now he's on a totally different path, which may clash with yours. Then he might get on some internet groups that's talking about women supposed to do this for men, and then you might be like, what? So no, never. Just let them stay whatever they were so you can have more control. Okay? Let them stay Christian or whatever. Sake. What's the best way to reintroduce yourself back into Santissima Muerte? You used to work with her, then you stopped, but I respectfully put her stage in the graveyard. I don't like, okay, if you're flipping and flopping, you need to make 100% sure that that's what you want to do. Okay. If you're flipping and flopping, you need to stop. Okay. If she doesn't resonate with you naturally, don't go back. Okay. I've always had a fascination with death since I was a child, since I was 4 years old. Okay. I was a mortician. I've actually worked with the dead. So that is why I work with her. And before I worked with her, I worked with other spirits of like death, the Getty and things like that. So you gotta understand it has to come from within. Don't ask me. If you're asking me, that means no. So if you're flipping and flopping, go back to your childhood and think about what drew you into the spiritual, mystical, magical world first and foremost. And that's what you need to go towards. Because as a child, you didn't know any better. So whatever you were drawn to was real for you. Okay? If you're just doing it for power or because that you heard she works this way or da da da, but then after a while you don't want to work with her anymore, it's because that's not for you. So just go back in your memory and try to remember The first thing you were attracted to as a child spiritually, and then I would start from there. Hmm. So please make sure that whatever you're attracted to, go for that first and foremost, then work from there. You ladies should join Mama D's group. There's plenty of good information. Yeah. Um, that group, the elimination group, it's really good for starters. And anyone who just likes, that lighter energy, it's on Facebook. It is a paid group. You got to instant message detailer intuitive, and she can get you in. You had a fascination with drawing stars as a child. Okay, go from there. Celestial, yes. Learn about that. Yes, illumination group. That's the name of it. Okay. So you like chickens. Okay, go find a spirituality that includes chickens. There you go. A lot of magical practices do include eggs. Nothing is necessary unless you're drawn to it. That's my thing. But I do suggest understanding and knowing universal law because that applies to everyone, whether they're magical or not. Universal law. And then if you want to take it a step further, spiritual alchemy is really good to know because that's where all of it, most of it, stemmed from. So, just yes, everything is magic. Exactly. So if you have all these questions, if you're a newbie, whatever you're attracted to, go for that first because that's what's going to hold your interest. That's what you're going to learn about. That's what you're going to seek out. That's what you're going to stick with for a longer time until maybe you graduate to something more that you're interested in, and then you go from there. That's my advice because that is from within, not from without. There you go. How do you deal with anxiety? I have a plan. I manifest. I see the end results before I even start whatever I'm doing. That gets rid of a lot of anxiety. Um, so there you go. Most people have anxiety because they fear a lot of things that they're not in control of, or they don't know where their life is going, or they're nervous because they don't have anything set in place that they can count on or depend on. Okay. But having a plan and things like that can help you. So I'm going to go ahead and end this here. Thank you guys for tuning in. I got to take Sasha and I got to go to the dentist. Me and Sasha got to go to the dentist and get our 6-month checkup. And I will see y'all later. Thumbs up if you're new. Make sure you subscribe. There's way more videos. I have many spell videos in my playlist, the spells playlist on my YouTube channel. And I also have a lot of videos that go deeper into alchemy and all those type of things. If y'all are new, subscribe. And a lot of you guys say you don't get notified. You have to push the notification bell, and you got to select all videos because it says occasionally, and then it says all. So If you don't get the notification, it's because it's probably set to occasional notification. So you got to switch it to all notification, all videos. Okay. So thank y'all for tuning in, and I'll see y'all maybe tomorrow.